Hello and welcome to this video. We will go through some league starters that are popular, and this is based on PoE Ninja, and I've collated, to use a fancy word, a bunch of different builds of the same build and put them together in the most used sort of thing. These builds do not need gear, so the DPSs are buried because I've stripped them all of gear, just added a belt, amulet, or rings to put the dexterity, strength, or intelligence up, which you can put on gear while you're playing, so you don't actually have to worry about, oh, this needs this unique, or this needs this type of weapon. I'll put stereotypical weapon that I can find in PoE. PoE, but PoB. Now let's get to the first one. The first one is a Shadow Trickster. We are going to be doing Explosive Trap. The passive tree looks like this. I'll zoom in a little. You can pause it and take note of the actual nodes and keystones. But as you can see, we come down. We obviously start over here. Now this is level 91. So you can add a few extra depending on where you need to put some. You could add some strength, int sort of stuff if you were really hurting on that and you want to use a couple of things. There's some up here. Since you're 91, you could actually get down to it. But the ascendancy, obviously, we're going to this one. We got Polymath, Swift Killer, One Step Ahead, and Escape Artist. The DPS is 627. We'll go to the gear just to show you what I meant about it doesn't require any. We have a belt which just gives us some strength and dexterity on our ring. Obviously you're going to have a strength belt more than likely, depending on where you get your rest of your stuff. We have a look at the action. This is one trap, just so I'm showing everything. All the explosives going off and average explosion. Now we look at the skills. The main we'll have a look at first. This is if you're grinding, probably 48 hours in. You could get to this point. Average player between 48 and a week, depending on your play time. This is obviously level 91, but you're building up to it, so don't worry about the 20 gems and all that, because obviously with the skill gems like Explosive Trap, getting to level 20 is not that difficult by playing. And obviously these will come along with the ride as you go. So yeah, we have Trap Mind Damage, Explosive Trap, increased critical damage, inspiration, charged trap, swift assembly. Now we go back up to the top where we were. Skitterbot, elemental weakness, and bear trap. Now this is a 3-link, so we can use a one-hander. This is got grace, hatred, and cluster traps. Shield charge to move around, faster attacks with it, and flame dash also. So we got a couple of options, and assassin's mark. And these are the breakdowns of all the DPSs and stuff. You can pause it and have a look at it. Spell suppression, as you can tell, that's all in a tree. And everything, it's not actually on any of our gear. And yeah, the full breakdown of the DPS. So we'll move on to the next one, which is another Shadow Assassin. The HexBlast Shadow Assassin in this instance. The DPS, full DPS is there. The breakdown of it is obviously right where it says. Now, just to show, I had to put a couple of extra rings on for the dex and strength needed. Obviously, this is just the stereotypical prophecy wand that you get out of the thing. This is the type of gear that you could look at getting and other people had, and obviously you could do it. One of the key items that people had was obviously the void battery, but as you can see, you don't need gear to get this DPS. Now we'll go back to the tree. There is a gem socket that I took out. It doesn't add any more damage or less damage having it. Obviously if you add the right gem it will, but we don't need it to hit this, is what I'm trying to go for. Now we come up here again. The two look rather similar. We also got another gem slot over here. Again, I haven't got it because this is not a look what you can do with the best gear. This is basic stuff, what you can do, league starter. And yeah, this one goes a little further over here, and another gem slot. Again, same reason I haven't added it. As you can see, so you could actually add a lot of defense or a lot of offense with these 3 gem slots. And you're only in level 94, so you could technically add another one. Now, we do look at the ascendancy. We have ambush and assassinate, opportunistic. Apparently that's a very difficult thing to say. Everyone agrees. Deadly infusion. Now, I believe that is all that. I'll just make sure I show all this so you can see it. And don't worry about the resistances on any of these builds because obviously we haven't used it. I'm not sure I showed the actual gems. Now the HexBlast has those gems. Too much quality. Doesn't drop it by all that much. And then shield charge, faster attacks. I've upped and down the skill gems based on the attributes and how easy or hard it is to get them. And as you can see, we have the skill gems for that. So we'll have a look at the next build, which will be a Berserker. Now, the Berserker, obviously a Marauder based, so we start over here this time. We have a look over here, we're obviously using Rage. The DPS is slightly lower. You can increase that DPS by gear. That's why I said don't worry about the DPS, because we are guaranteed to get this through just a few basic things just to show. All we have is this. Now this does add 21,000 DPS overall, but obviously with other gear you can get that even if you don't have the stereotypical one-handed sword. Now we do have a look at the full DPS, and it's Blade Fury, General's Cry. And as you can see, we go all the way over here. And nothing generally wow about it. It is a different sort of thing. I have made this a level 100, so the DPS is a little bit of a try and find it without gear. But as you can see, we have almost 4k life, hit pools okay. Without gear it's actually pretty good. And yeah, so it's not the strongest build, but it is one that you can do without any gear. And the ascendancies we'll have a look at. We have Flawless Savagery. We have Rite of Ruin, Crave the Slaughter, and Aspect of Carnage. Obviously, we will require to get at a higher level to get all this, but it's a very interesting one I thought I'd add. The skills for the General's Cry Blade Fury is obviously Blade Fury General's Cry. Impale, Pulverize, Brutality, Melee Physical Damage. We have Desecrate, Infuse Channeling, Cast while Channeling, and Cyclone. We have Leap Slam, Faster Attacks, Determination, Blood and Sand. We have Dread Banner, Multiple Totems, Ancestral War Chief, Ancestral Protector. We have Assassin's Mark, Mark on Hit, Blood Rage. We have Pride and Berserk. Now, as you can see, we go through different levels and all that. We have a Duelist Slayer Boneshatter build with nice DPS without items, just to show you. Got that, and the two-hand axe. Now the passive tree, a little zigzaggy wibbly wobbly. As you can see, this is the tree. As it said, pause it and come back to it if you require. The Ascension, we have Bane of Legends, Headsman, Brutal Fever, Impact. We look at the skills. We have Boneshatter with Fortify, Close Combat, Ruthless, Brutality, Melee Physical Damage. We have a look at the rest of it. We have Frostblink, War Banner. We have Arrogance with Precision. We have Molten Shell, Cast when damage taken, Ancestral War Chief, Life Tap, Ancestral Protector, Multiple Totems. Determination, Leap, Slam, and Faster Attacks. Already looked at that. Ancestral Cry, Berserk, Pride, and Blood Rage. Blood Rage we don't have on at the moment because we need a little more life regen. It also gives us more DPS, but because we don't have gear on, we have no life regen on our gear. Once you get that, you require 100 120 to make that quite nice. Obviously you just need whatever those numbers are, but obviously you want a little bit more. But that is the Duelist Slayer Boneshatter build, which is quite nice even without any gear on. We come to the Witch. This particular Witch is Elementalist Detonate Dead. We come in here, the start, we go over here. Now obviously if you wish you could come up here and shortcut and come over here if you prioritize this side, and then do some re-plotting and come this way once you connect them. It's up to you, but you can see that is the Witch's stuff, and it comes all the way down here to take some of these nodes. And we look at the ascensions for her. If I can control my mouse, we have Heart of Destruction, Mastermind of Discord, Shaper of Flames, and Bastion of Elements. Now the DPS is slightly lower than some of the others. You'll be able to get some gear to actually do that and increase that number. We look at items, need a little more of the dexterities and strength, as you can tell by the rings, amulets, and belt. Pre-standard wand, it only adds 4000 DPS. Skills we'll look at, obviously Detonate Dead, which you could use a Baal Detonate Dead, which adds a decent amount of extra damage. If we activate the actual thing, we lose 169 DPS when we use the Baal Detonate Dead. With the Detonate Dead, we have Combustion, Ignite, Proliferate, Cruelty, Swift Affliction, and Burning Damage. Next we have Flame Surge, Flammability, Wave of Conviction with Arcanist Brand. whatever that word is. Flame Dash, Grace, faster attacks with shield charge. Now, this is a lot of gems for it, and you'll need gear and you'll need the socket, so it's a building build. 106 passives out of 123. We have Haste with Divine Blessing, Inspiration, and Determination. The Temper Shield, Desecrate, faster castings, and then Molten Shell, cast when damage taken and Blood Rage finishes it off. Now we have a look, we have the two things, Spell and Corpse Explosion. So that's Spell, I'll go through it so you can have a look at it, and then the Corpse Explosion DPS. Just so you get a full picture of all the actual information. Now the last one is also a witch and also an elementalist, but it's Penance Brand. The tree is very windy tree again. So your personal preference to which you want to go to, so you can come down here, then work your way up, and then take these out because you've already got up here. Obviously it's a bit of your choice on how you go about it, because you might want to go all the way over here first, or you might want to come up here. But as I go through it, you can have a look and determine which ones you would go for first. Obviously it is personal preference. We do have the dexterity to increase the actual attributes, because being a witch, we are a little strapped for dex. Obviously if you're gear, you could drop that and put it somewhere else. But that is the passive tree, and we have Heart of Distraction, Shaper of Flames, and Bastion of Elements, and obviously the Mine of Discord again. If we look at the skills, we look at the main skill: Penance Brand, Combustion, Cruelty, Immolate, Ignite Proliferation. And obviously the different things, because obviously strength and dex and int is, well, int's pretty easy for you, but as you can see, some of this takes strength. So if you got a good way to get a bunch of strength, you can get these up as high as you wish. Now we have Defiance, Banner, Divine Blessing, Hatred, and Inspiration. Arkansas, Brand, Flame Surge, Elemental Weakness, Flammability, Vitality, Determination, Frost Blink, Shield Charge. We also can have Smite of Divine Judgment. Now if we just do Divine Judgment and enable that, as you can see, it adds a little bit of DPS. I keep it off because of Valve skill, it can mix it up sometimes, but I'll add it on just because you've seen before and after, and hopefully the outside noises aren't too loud. We have faster attacks and momentum with them. Okay, apparently I put Molten Shell on with it. Now we take that off. Obviously it's a defensive thing, so as you can see, if you just have a look down here, there's no change in the full DPS. So the Molten Shell, cast, damage taken, and Grace is the last things, and I'm pretty sure I showed this, just in case I didn't, and that's the build there. Just to go through them again, we had Shadow, HexBlast, Berserker, General, Flurry, which is the General's Kai with Blade Flurry. We have the Slayer, Boneshatter, Trickster, Explosive Trap, Elementalist, Dead, and Elementalist, Penance Brand. So go back, and if I remember, when I'm editing, I'll try and do the chapters so you can go through them and have a look at the trees, see what you want to change, you could copy them all into POB, change up the little trees and see where you'd rather go. Obviously it's completely up to you, and you play how you enjoy it. But that's it for this one, and do enjoy the next league, and goodbye.